Hey guys, Marissa at KitchenTableStamper.com. Today I've got a really cute thank you note card for you. It's got a cute little apple thanks on the front, and inside it says thoughtful, kind, generous, that's you. It's simple. This was my thank you card for orders placed in August, and it's also part of our paper and ink card class for September. So this is card number 1 in the paper and ink card class for September. This is card number 2. Card number 3 and card number 4. Paper and ink card class is held on the 3rd Monday of the month currently in my Chicago area home studio. If you're looking for Stampin' Up events in the Chicago area, reach out Marissa at KitchenTableStamper.com. I do a video series of these cards too. So if you're looking for any of those designs, there will be links to each of the 4 videos in the description if you're watching on YouTube. And in the blog post, you'll see September paper and ink quick links, and you can go from card to card and take the class with me via the internet. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so this card is really simple. It's a great way to use up some scraps. Let me show you what I got here. For paper, I have a piece of Sahara sand that is 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm going to score it at 4 1/4 in just a minute. I rated the scrap bin for Cajun Craze, Pear Pizzazz, and Early Espresso. Use up your scraps for this one. Then I got a piece of the brand new Gather Together Designer Series paper, and this is the Pretty Peacock gingham pattern. I love this paper, and it features strongly in all the cards. There's a multicolor gingham there. Look at this gorgeous textile, and then here's a leaf pattern, all from that same Designer Series paper pack. All right, let's look at the tools that you need for this. I've got my wood planks 3D embossing folder, Be Mine stitched framelits, and I'm going to use this fun spray of hearts to get this little detail here, that little heart inside the apple. I did that for a couple of reasons. I made a bunch of these for thank you cards, and one passed through the machine gave me lots of hearts. So just something to keep in mind for this Be Mine stitched framelits. We're also using the Well Said stamp set for this thoughtful, kind, generous, that's you greeting. And it coordinates with the Well Written framelits dies. We're going to use this thanks die. I just love this modern scripty sentiment. They're really awesome, and they cut wonderful. Wait till you see. And this project features very strongly our Harvest Hellos bundle. This is brand new in the 2019 holiday catalog. And when you buy the Harvest Hellos Cling stamp set, it's a 15-piece cling mount set, and the apple builder punched together, you save 10%. All right, so those are our tools. Stampin' pads for this project are Early Espresso, Pear Pizzazz, and Whisper White Craft Ink. Last, I've got my embellishment here. This is a Come Together ribbon combo pack, and we're going to use the Cajun Craze twine from that combo pack. You only need maybe 8 inches to make a pretty bow, so let me snip that off. Got my Simply Scored tool here. Let's go ahead and score our card base. We're going to put it in on the 8.5 orientation and score at 4 1/4. Got my bone folder here. Let's go ahead and work that crease. Then I'm going to get the Big Shot, and we're going to do some die cutting and some embossing. Okay, I got my Big Shot here. My paper is in the embossing folder, and let's give this a quick crank. Add some texture to the front of this card base. Well, we've got the machine here. Let's do a quick bit of die cutting. I'm gonna line up this little heart spray so that it cuts some of these bigger hearts. You could do the whole thing and save the smaller hearts. And then thanks. Since I have both dies in at the same time, and that can change the distribution of the pressure in your machine, I went ahead and I ran the machine back and forth because we want this to just pop right out and all the little pieces to just fall out. See how nicely that thanks cut out smooth as butter, and all the little bits just fell away. And then for our little spray of hearts, I'll clean this out afterwards, but all we need is one of these bigger heart pieces. Time for a little stamping and inking. I'm gonna grab my craft stamping pad here, and this is Whisper White ink, and we're just going to run the ink pad right over that embossed texture and really highlight that wood grain. Gonna do that now so we can set it aside for a few minutes to dry while we finish up some of the other bits here. Okay, my advice is to take your time with this ink and spread it on lightly without a lot of pressure. You can always add more, just keep on brushing the ink pad over, but it's really hard to take the ink off. So I'm gonna take my fingertip, clean fingers, and just burnish over this craft ink, kind of soften the effect of it and let it dry. While that dries, let's stamp our leaf. Got Pear Pizzazz and a little apple leaf from Harvest to Lowe's. We're just gonna stamp Pear Pizzazz on Pear Pizzazz. And then inside of our card, let's add a greeting. Got Early Espresso, and I'm just gonna stamp it right centered. Time for some punching. I've got that apple builder. Let's make ourselves a little plaid apple. Love it. And punch out the leaf. There is a little stem stamp, but for this card, I'm not going to stamp the stem. I'm just gonna punch it from the rest of that Early Espresso scrap. Let's tie this little scrap of Cajun craze up into a bow. I just need a little bitty one. Hold the center of your knot and pull the tails, and you can adjust the size. So if you need to tie it a little bit bigger to start with, no worries, you can do that for dexterity issues. Just hold the center when you adjust the bow and everything will stay tied neatly. We don't want to overwhelm the size of our apple, so let's trim off the tails. Let's get this card put together, should we? I'm going to adhere my apple to the card base first, and I'm just using some fast views. You can use snail here. Goes about an inch from the bottom and maybe half an inch from the right for good balance. Burnish that down good because you're uninked texture. Next, I got a bit of multi-purpose liquid glue, and we're going to glue the stem, the thanks, and the bow onto our apple with multi-purpose liquid glue. Don't forget that little Cajun craze heart. Ah, there it is. All right. For the thanks die cut, I'm just barely putting any pressure on the glue bottle. We just kind of want to sketch a little bit of glue on the back of the letters. You don't need a lot, and you don't need it on the entire word, just kind of strategically along the back here. Less is really more. This is a good strong glue, and a tiny little bit will do. And we're going to put that using the pattern on the apple to keep our thanks from going uphill or downhill. We want it to overlap the end of the apple there. You got a mini Stampin' Dimensional. Let's use that for the leaf. My stem is mirror image on this apple. Depends on which side of the stem you put the glue on, which way it's going to curve. I don't think it matters too much. A little multi-purpose liquid glue on the back of the knot for that bow. Add it up right on the stem there. What a cutie. I think my tails are still a little bit long. I'm gonna trim them down just a bit so it doesn't interfere with the word. There it is. There's our Harvest Hello meets well written thank you card. If you've got any questions about the project, about classes in the Chicago area, if there's anything I can do to help you stay crafty, you can email Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. Thanks for watching.